Lauren laughed during hearing. Do you understand? Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert was laughed at by us. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Administrator Michael Regan during a House Oversight Committee hearing. Regan on Wednesday appeared before the Goblet House Committee to answer questions on the Biden administration's push of excessive environmental regulations and abuse of environmental protection authorities, according to the panel. During the hearing, Boebert began questioning Regan on the EPA and the recent decision by the Supreme Court to overturn the Chevron deference. I'm asking about the EPA, and I'm asking about your rogue bureaucrats that have enacted these unconstitutional regulations. Are you going to repeal them? Are you going to continue to implement them, or are you going to stop altogether? Boebert asked. In response, Regan questioned Boebert. Do you understand the ruling? The Congresswoman answered, Do you understand the ruling of the Supreme Court? Regan interrupts her, saying, I do, and so your question is ill-formed. As the two continued wrangling over the ruling, Boebert asked again which regulations the EPA was going to repeal, saying that some were deemed unconstitutional. Regan disputed Boebert's assertion, saying no while laughing at the Colorado Republican. The Supreme Court last month ruled to overturn the long-standing Chevron deference, which refers to the 1984 decision from Chevron Natural Resources Defense Council. The High Court 40 years ago determined that judges should defer to federal agencies in interpreting ambiguous elements of statutes. Instead, the courts will now have the final. Last week, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer announced that Regan would be attending a hearing in front of the panel. The Environmental Protection Agency is not and should not be immune to congressional oversight. The EPA has worked closely with the White House to implement sweeping executive orders and burdensome regulations in an effort to advance a radical climate agenda, Comer said in his statement. The committee looks forward to holding the agency accountable next week for its efforts to cement Green New Deal and other misguided priorities that have hurt both American businesses and consumers across the country. Newsweek reached out to Boebert's press office via email for comment on Wednesday. On these kinds of statutes, even on highly technical matters. In a post to X, formerly Twitter, Boebert further criticized the EPA. Rogue bureaucrats at the EPA continue to pander to Green New Deal extremists. Their overreaching regulations are increasing costs for the American people. I grilled the EPA administrator today on these unconstitutional rulemakings. Abolish the EPA, Boebert added.